Good morning everybody, this is the first biology lesson that we're going to actually publish on the YouTube channel. I'm going to try and go through the presentation just like it being the lesson itself. This PowerPoint that's here will also be on Show My Homework, so you can flick through this at your own pace whenever you want. I'm also just going to hold this up here now. At the end of this lesson, if you can go onto that website, which is www.samlearning.com, put in the ID, which is BB3DA, and the username and your password. Username and the password are the same. They're your date of birth followed by your initials. If you do the activity that I put the link to on Show My Homework, you'll be able to do an assessment that sees if you understand it or not. Throughout the video, I'm going to actually put up a couple of questions, and if you want to pause the video, it'll come up with some answers and you can actually write something down at the time being. So the first lesson that you need to be getting your head around in biology is the difference between eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells. If this was a normal lesson, I'd be asking you to do this now, drawing a picture of the cells. There's also some key words here that you have to get your head around when you understand them. Here is a prokaryotic cell. It's different than the eukaryotic cells that you've learned in year 7, 8 and 9. And if you have a little look at it now, you might notice some differences. You can see that where we normally expect to be a nucleus, there's not, there's just some free DNA. It does have a cell wall, okay, and it's also got this thing here called a flagellum, which helps it to move. So, in today's lesson, these are the things that you could do with understanding as well as you can. Okay, state whether a cell is a prokaryotic or eukaryotic cell. So in your exam, you might look at a picture and decide which one. Describe the differences between them and then be able to compare them as well. So there are two main types of cells that can be recognised by their basic structure. First of all, we have the prokaryotic cells. They were the ones that were first, that evolved first, and they're more simple ones. Then we have the eukaryotic cells. So which cells come in these categories? Well, prokaryotic cells are found in bacteria. Also the archaeobacteria as well. And then eukaryotic ones are found in protists, which doesn't come up much but is related to malaria. But the ones you've probably heard of are fungi, plants and animals. So lower down the school, you've really looked at eukaryotic cells and you've looked at the difference between plants and animals. So to start off with this video, I'm just going to recap on that before we actually touch on these prokaryotic cells. In your exam, it'll ask you what an organelle is, and an organelle is a subunit within a cell. Okay, so a nucleus is an example of an organelle. So anything that's in between or smaller than a cell itself is an organelle. Each organelle has a specific job to do, and you need to know the specific job for each of these organelles for your exams. So at this point in the lesson, I would normally ask you to draw me a plant cell and an animal cell and try and label it, and that will just give me an idea of how well you understood what the different parts did. So at this point here, if you pause the video and sketch the cells behind me, and then try and label what these actual bits are, these organelles, and see if you get it right. So do that now, pause the video, and I'll go through the answers in a second. Okay, let's check what you've got here. Starting at the top here, we have the chloroplast. This is obviously a plant cell here, because it's got chloroplasts for photosynthesis. Then we have a permanent vacuole. The cell wall, this is the most common mistake people make. They think an animal cell has a cell wall, so be careful with that one. And then these ones in the middle are the ones that are in both. Okay, so the cell membrane, this is the animal cell here now with the cell membrane. The nucleus is in both. The cytoplasm is in both. As are mitochondria, just for key stage 4, and as are ribosomes. Ribosomes, you can see, are really, really small, and mitochondria are the similar size to chloroplasts. Now we need to know what these actual organelles do, what the job of them is. So again, I've put some lists down the right hand side of the organelles, and then I've put some of the roles down on the opposite side. So stop the video now, see if you can match up these organelles to their actual functions. Okay, let's have a look then. So first up, nucleus. You should have, it controls all the activity of the cell, okay? It contains the genetic material, it's the DNA. Don't say it's the brain of the cell, it just controls the activities. Mitochondria releases energy for respiration, okay? So any cell that needs to do a lot of work will have lots of mitochondria. Chloroplasts only found in plant cells. What's their job? It says light energy is absorbed and changed into food here. If you put photosynthesis, that's exactly what that definition is. Ribosomes, that's where proteins are made. Protein synthesis means the making of proteins. Cell wall supports it and keeps its shape, but remember, only in plant cells. A vacuole is full of cell sap. Cell membrane controls the movement in and out. That's a really important component. And the cytoplasm, that's where the chemical reactions take place. It's in the background of the cell. So again now, you need to work out which of these cells are just found in animal cells, just found in plant cells, or the ones that are in both. So again, draw this little drawing now of a Venn diagram, and in this space here, you're going to put the ones that are shared by both of them. In this space here, just in plant, and in this space here, just by animal. Okay, this is what you should have come up with. Ribosomes, mitochondria, cytoplasm and cell membrane and the nucleus are in both of them. Plant cells, chloroplasts, cell wall and the permanent vacuole. And in the animal cell, well, there's nothing just unique to the animal cell itself. Here are some true or false questions. Have a little think about them. And again, you can pause the video if you want, or you can just listen to me go through them. So is this true? The first one, the nucleus controls all the activities of the cell. Yes, it is true. Chloroplasts contain the green pigment. Again, that's true. All plant cells contain chloroplasts. That one's false, and that's quite a common question because plants have roots, and roots are underneath the ground, and the roots cannot photosynthesize because there's no light. That's a really common question you get. So not every single plant cell has chloroplasts, but the majority do. All cells have a cell membrane. Oh, sorry, all animal cells are smaller than plant cells. It is true because there's less components there. All cells have a cell membrane, true again. And only animal cells have a cellulose cell wall. Well, that's false. Okay, in your worksheets that I'm also attaching to show my homework, you have this table that you can fill in. So again, go to your worksheet now, look through the video and see if you can put ticks in the boxes for these components here, and I will go through them now. Okay, instead of me talking through them, there is the answers, so you can check all those, make sure you've got them right. If there's any wrong, revisit the video and see which bits you got wrong. So now we need to look at, instead of just drawing the two types of cells, we have our eukaryotic cells here, which are plant and animal cells, and we have our prokaryotic. So now, after we've done that revision, we need to really understand what the prokaryotic do, so that if you get that in your exam, you understand what they are. Main differences, here they are. Eukaryotes have their DNA, their genetic material, in a nucleus within inside the cell. Prokaryotes have DNA, exactly the same DNA that we have, however, it's not in a nucleus, it's just free. Here we have a nucleus of a eukaryotic cell, it could be a plant or an animal cell, and here we have the free DNA in a prokaryotic cell, such as a bacteria and a virus. Eukaryotes have lots of organelles, remember they're the small components within cells. And here we have a nucleus and we have some mitochondria, defined organelles. Prokaryotic don't, there's no organelles within here, there's just the ribosomes that we have, but there is no nucleus, there's no mitochondria, there's none of those other organelles within there. After that, there's a little video you can watch which is on the actual PowerPoint if you want to click through that and have a go at it. And here are the answers to your worksheets, so flip that back for a second, okay? And if you do the worksheets, here are all the answers so you can check them. So at this point now, we should understand what are differences between the eukaryotic and the prokaryotic, and we should have revised what the animal and the plant cells are as well. You need to then go to the show my homework to check out the PowerPoint, make sure you understand it. Also do the worksheet that's attached to that, and then when you've done that, make sure you're going on the SAM learning to do the activity, because when you do that activity and if you complete it, I'll be able to check who's done it and who can do the questions and who's struggling still. After that, there'll be one opportunity during the week where you can go online at Microsoft Teams and I'll talk to you then. Okay, good luck everyone.